Melania Trump gave the big speech last night on the first night of the Republican convention, and it appears like she may have plagiarized Michelle Obama.
And I were raised with so many of the same values, like you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, that you do what you say you're going to do.
My parents impressed on me the values that you work hard for what you want in life, that your word is your bond, and you do what you say and keep your promise.
That you treat people with dignity and respect, even if you don't know them and even if you don't agree with them.
That you treat people with respect. They taught and showed me values and morals in their daily life. That is a lesson that I continue to pass along to our son. And we need to pass those lessons on to the many generations to follow.
And Barack and I set out to build lives guided by these values and to pass them on to the next generation, because we want our children and all children in this nation to know that the only limit to the height of your achievements is the reach of your dreams and your willingness to work hard for them.
Because we want our children in this nation to know that the only limit to your achievements is the strength of your dreams and your willingness to work for them.
Yep. There appears to be some plagiarism there. The response from the Trump campaign is hilarious, too, because they're not even really denying it. They're like, it was only a little bit of it? We're trying. Give us a pass. Give us a pass. So I actually have a little bit of a different take than most people on this. I mean, she didn't write the speech. So let's be clear about that. There's no way that she wrote the speech. It's not like, if I was running a campaign or if I was a candidate where I'd be like, fuck off. I'm not going to use anybody else's thoughts for me to lay out my vision and my policy ideas. I mean, it's, and for Trump too, it's not like he's going to write his speeches. I mean, he may have some input on it, but it'll be somebody else. They have people that they hire specifically to do shit like this. So for Melania, somebody else wrote it. They gave it to her. She's not going to go back and look at, let me see what Laura Bush says. Let me see what Barbara Bush said. Let me see what Michelle Obama said. So in a weird way, I am defending her. Because yesterday, and Glenn Greenwald was making this point on Twitter, and he's 1,000,000% right. If you look at the entire day yesterday at the Republican convention, everything else should have been a bigger scandal. Like, for example, this thing kept dragging on late at night. And right before I turned it off, there's some jackass up there. I don't know if he's some low-level elected official or something like that. Or he actually said, well, I worked at Guantanamo for this amount of time, and I don't know exactly what his position was. But he made a claim and we should keep them there forever. Every speaker did the old Republican talking point of, we got to loosen up these rules of engagement. We have people fighting war with their hands tied behind their backs, which is just, Republican talk for fuck the Geneva Conventions, fuck international law, fuck human rights. We should be able to do an offensive war, launch aggressive wars against countries, and then when we get in there, we shouldn't have any accountability whatsoever. All of those statements are a bigger scandal to me because I care more about policy substance and I care more about the things that are going to affect people's lives. But in this weird media climate that we have today, this is what everybody's talking about. Oh my God, they said things that were really similar and they took the things from the thing and again, Greenwald pointed out, what are you going to do? Have Joe Biden comment on plagiarism charges? For those of you who don't know, Joe Biden is a proven plagiarist. Or, Fareed Zakaria. By the way, Fareed Zakaria, not a bad dude. Smart dude. You know, sometimes I watch his show and I like a lot of the stuff he says. Me and him probably agree on a lot of stuff. He was guilty of plagiarism. He just went away for a few months and he came back and okay, boom, done. You know. So I'm not pro plagiarism. I don't know anybody who's pro plagiarism. But the idea that this is the biggest story of the night, when literally every other speaker, for example, use the Republican talking point and the implication that Democrats are just lazy fucks. That was one thing that almost everybody said. Almost everybody was calling for more war when they were up there. I mean, like all that other stuff I care more about, but in our soundbite media culture, they look at this and they're like, oh, we can harp away on this. Yeah, she took some stuff from a speech. Shouldn't have done it, but pump your brakes, reel it in. She didn't write the fucking speech. And now, obviously, I would be floored if people weren't fired over this. And there was a report right before I came on air, Mediaite was saying that, like, they're livid inside the campaign, like, Trump and his people are like, who the fuck did this? Why would you do that? Why, of all the things, this is the only thing you couldn't have done and shouldn't have done, and you did it. And you fucking did it. So, I don't know. To me, this seems more like, oh, gotcha moment, when we should really be having conversations about what the rest of the night was like, which was just an orgy of hate. It was a lust for bigotry and vitriol, and everybody had verbal diarrhea. They had speakers. I'm not kidding. There were 3 speakers in a row. Their only claim to fame, or lack thereof, is that undocumented immigrants killed their loved ones. Gee, I wonder if they're trying to send the message that undocumented immigrants are bloodthirsty criminals. If you don't know any better, you walk away from that convention thinking that the majority of undocumented immigrants are trying to kill you. Like it's a gang outside your house right now, go get the 22. So this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. Benghazi! They had people go up there from Benghazi and just lie. Like one of them, I thought it was the most despicable thing I've ever seen in my life. This poor woman who lost her son in Benghazi apparently drunk the Kool-Aid of the right-wing talking points, and she's up there blaming Hillary Clinton, saying she should be in jail, and, saying that they did a stand-down order and they didn't send help. Okay, that's not true. We've proven that that's not true. There's been 9 investigations into this, some of them even led by Republicans. Not true. Not true. Well, they act like, oh, Hillary wanted our people to die. Nonsense. Nonsense. I got no love for Hillary Clinton, but that's not true. They're up there repeating that. They had other people from Benghazi come up and give a play-by-play. So the whole night was a fucking dumpster fire, and they're focusing on, actually, the one speech that wasn't bad. And it probably wasn't bad because a lot of it was from Michelle Obama. But there were other parts of it that weren't from Michelle Obama. They were actually pretty good. Like Melania Trump was saying, hey, we should look after poor people. Nobody else ever says that at a Republican convention. She actually was a decent human being. But this is the thing everybody's walking away from getting angry at. And I wouldn't go as far as calling it PC outrage, because plagiarism is plagiarism, and yeah, it should be condemned, and it is wrong. But to me, this is lower on the priorities list. So I don't know, man. Maybe I'm the only person making these arguments. Actually, that's not true. Like I said, Greenwald was pointing this out on Twitter as well. But we'll talk about it for 3 days, thereabouts. People will, and then it'll be out of the mind. Everybody will forget. In fact, it might be out of everybody's mind tonight, because the convention is a few days. So you'll have some new speakers today, and everybody will harp away on whatever the new scandal is. But yeah, it sucks. They shouldn't have done it, but she didn't write the speech. Overall, I don't think it's going to hurt the Trump campaign much. Nor do I think it necessarily should. I think the other stuff is much more damaging and should be more damaging, like the fact that the party is a bunch of lunatics who want to do nothing but get up there and spew bigotry and hatred and terrible policy ideas.